Indiana in the morning on WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. He's a dad on the day after Dad's Day. Mark Hilliard joins us in the studio. Have a good one?
I did. We typical running around with the kids activities, but it was a nice day.
Good.
And I got to be with the family, so that was the most important thing.
That's what it's all about. Our visit this morning presented by Marcus and Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. You can visit them online at marcusandmack.com. So the Chamber of Commerce, I saw you were in Harrisburg.
We had Chamber Day in Harrisburg last week, yes.
What was that like, to be able to gather with other chamber representatives, but also with some lawmakers, too?
It's always great to get together with colleagues from around Pennsylvania, especially this time. It's funny when we talk. Everybody talks about Indiana County right now, and that's a good thing that we have such a spotlight on us because of all the announcements that have been made over the past few months. But part of this is trying to work with some of the colleagues that are in neighboring counties because they're going to be affected by what's happening in Homer City as well, and be able to start planting some of the seeds and seeing how we can work together to help make sure that this project really is as successful as we expect it to be. Other than that, it's always good to be in Harrisburg to be able to meet with some of the state legislators, and the PA Chamber does a great job of trying to highlight different issues that we should keep an eye on for the future. It's great though because here in Indiana County, I think we have three outstanding legislators, in Senator Pittman, Representative Struzzi, and Representative Smith, that, they have kind of, I don't want to say an open door, but we have access to them a lot more because of, the type of people that they are. So we know about a lot of the things that are coming down the pipeline a little bit sooner than maybe some of the colleagues do who don't have that kind of relationship. Mm-hmm. So I think the fact that, we do work together so well here in the county, and that goes from county to state as well, that I think that it gives us a little bit of an advantage. So it's nice to be able to go there and be able to hear from others and certainly hear from what's happening in Harrisburg that could affect businesses throughout the state.
When you say that, it makes me wonder, do they cultivate their relationships with their lawmakers the way that we do here? Certainly with Representative Struzzi, he was with the Chamber of Commerce before them, so he recognizes the importance of the Chamber and what they do within each county, within each business environment.
I don't know. That's a good question, Todd. I think that this goes back a number of years, because when we look at even Chamber board meetings, board of directors meetings, back then Dave Reed and Don White attended a lot of those meetings too, and they had the same kind of access to a lot of the local officials that we do. So, it's not just, I think it's been something that has been building for a long time in Indiana County, and maybe it's just the culture that we've created here. But I think Senator Pittman and Representative Struzzi have been fantastic, and usually they're pretty forthcoming with us, mm-hmm. especially when they attend some of our board meetings, and be able to share some things that we are not always allowed to leave that room and share, but they're usually pretty candid with us about things that we need to keep an eye on.
Within the Chamber of Commerce and all of the folks who were there last week, we certainly want to get information as quickly as we can about Homer City, mm-hmm. And I'm sure that all of them wanted some information too about how this all came to be and what role locals played in making that happen. When you get an announcement like the one that we got in April, everybody wants the door to be open tomorrow and things to start humming just as quickly as possible, without realizing that it takes a ton of extra work. And it takes time for all of the things that need to happen, regulatory-wise, in terms of the business environment, all of those different things. So I'm sure that you were asked questions about how it was that this all came together within Indiana County.
Well, it was funny. I had the conversation more than once on Tuesday about where we were about 2 or 3 years ago, and some of the conversations that we were having at that point in time, a lot related to Homer City. Because there was so much uncertainty there, although we were all working extremely hard at trying to figure out, how to, take care of that plant and at that time save it and maybe prevent it from having to close down. But and there was a lot of work, and a lot of that was legislative, and a lot of that was regulatory, and some of that stuff is still being held up in the courts right now. But things have changed, and it's certainly not because of the Chamber of Commerce. We have a very small part to play in all of that. But it's a lot of people working together, and sometimes you get a little bit of good luck as well. But there's a lot of people that have been working for a number of years trying to find something positive. And it just so happens, when it started turning the right way that we wanted it to turn here in Homer City, things fell into place a lot quicker than we expected. And some of the things that they're working on now are going to be huge. I mean, it's going to be something that's going to be massive for this county, and I'm hoping that's going to pay dividends for the economy here in Indiana County for decades to come.
Would we be correct in assuming that you have gotten a lot of business inquiries from people that might want to move their businesses here or come bring a branch of their business here since that announcement?
Yeah, we have. And I think another indicator, Todd, is that when we talk to a lot of businesses about their hiring process and some of the candidates that they're getting, and I think I've said this before on your show, but it seems like every month we're hearing more and more that we're seeing so many candidates from outside of the county showing interest in coming to Indiana County. We love to hear that. I mean, that's a big deal to try to draw more and more people here to the county. So I think that there's so much more interest. And I mean, we're meeting tomorrow with Raising Cane's at the chamber, and that's something that I had some family over the weekend, and from out of state, that's what everybody was talking about is Raising Cane's. But it's not just the chains. I think there's a lot of local businesses too that are looking to try to get established here. And at the chamber, we're also trying to take a focus this year on, we love bringing in new businesses, but trying to support our local businesses. So we have some things coming up here in the next couple of months that are kind of a spin-off of the small business workshop we did last month, to try to really find ways to support local businesses and see if we can help them out with different issues that might be impacting them. So we're excited about that. So we definitely love to bring in new business, but right now our focus too is on trying to support the businesses we have here.
Well, certainly. They're the members of the Chamber, after all.
Correct.
So let's talk a little bit about what the summer is going to look like for the Chamber of Commerce. What are some of the things you have planned?
So we're partnering with Eric Lauver over the Technology and Entrepreneurship Center to do a number of lunch workshops coming up here beginning in July, and we'll have some details on the dates. We're going to do one every 3 weeks. Then they're going to be over there. We're going to provide lunch. But we've asked for a lot of topics when we were at the small business workshop about a month ago back in May. And some of the things that we talked about we were going to try to cover here and just cover them briefly, because we understand that when you're talking to small business owners, they don't have a lot of time to be able to leave their business and come in and take part in a workshop. But we're going to focus on AI for being one of the first ones, how AI can support your business. That's something that I'm still learning about. And,
Sure.
I know a little bit about ChatGPT and things like that, but
Eric will be here tomorrow, by the way.
yeah, so you could ask him a little bit about that too. But how AI can work for your business, how to market on social media, and I think e-commerce will be another topic. So those will be a few that we're working on here over the next 2 months. And they're open to anybody. They don't have to be a chamber member. So if you're interested in any of those topics, but we're going to continue to try to find topics that are of interest and be able to provide opportunities for businesses to learn a little bit more about that. But so that's going to be a focus of ours here in the next couple of months. And other than that, we had to reschedule our golf outing because the Thursday before Memorial Day weekend, we had that 50-degree and thunderstorm day, and that was not a
Western Pennsylvania happened to you, didn't it?
We've never had to reschedule before, but that wasn't the ideal day to be out on a golf course. So we have rescheduled that for July the 10th. So we're looking forward to. We'll still be willing to take a couple of teams, although we're pretty much nearly sold out. But we are willing to take a couple more teams for that outing if you'd like to be a part of that. And hopefully in July we won't have any 50-degree days.
Yeah.
But you never know. It's Western PA.
Well, it is in Evansburg, so where snow is forecast for July.
Let's not talk about that.
That just seems to happen. But those are big events for the summertime.
Yes, it's usually summer's a slower time for us. But we've kind of focused this year on trying to find new ways to help our local businesses and provide more educational opportunities for them. And really we're kind of gearing up and preparing ourselves internally for the move that'll happen later this year into the new building, and also starting to plan. And what I'm working right now a lot on a lot of the background information for the Hall of Fame, which is coming up on September 18th. So it's a few months away, but it'll sneak up on us quickly, and there's a lot of work that has to go into that. So it gives us a little bit of time to start preparing for that as well. But yeah, there's a lot coming up here in the summer that's not a typical summer for the Chamber of Commerce, but it's going to be an exciting year, and we're really looking forward to some of the big things that are happening, and it's fun watching some of this come together with what's happening with Homer City and IRMC and IUP and us moving into the new building, and it's just kind of all coming together at the right time.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned Raising Cane's. They appeared this week, actually, on a list of the places in America with the happiest employees. How about that?
Oh,
They probably have leftovers. That'll
be exciting. I know they have some happy customers. At least I've got a few in my house that are that love going there. So,
but when you think about it, there will be opportunities for retail, certainly for service industries, food industries in Indiana County because of what will be happening in Homer City.
Oh yeah,
and industrial, and certainly within the AI community and the technical end of things. Those are going to be all things that we're hearing more and more about in Indiana County. And so the chamber, the county, our lawmakers in Harrisburg, everybody has to be really flexible right now and open to what folks want to do, hear the proposals and see if we can make them fit.
We're working. A lot of our focus too is working with the county and IUP and even the Aaron Intermediate Unit on workforce and what kind of workforce we can anticipate all this bringing into the county. And we're doing that. We have a meeting coming up, I believe, on August the 7th over at Everly College with superintendents from around the region, because we're trying to, be able to take what skills are going to be needed for some of these jobs that will be created and see how we can have our schools, not just in Indiana County, but all around the region, be able to start to, prepare students that might be interested in going into one of those fields. So trying to get a handle on what that workforce would look like is one of our priorities right now as well, so that we can be on top of it and not reactive, but try to be proactive in terms of how that's going to look. But we're learning a lot. It's like drinking from the fire hose, but it's all positive. So we'd rather be talking about this than losing jobs, about what kind of new jobs are coming in. But it's going to have an impact on everything, like you said, on multiple industries. It will have an impact at needing more healthcare workers, and so anything, almost everything is going to be affected by that, and positively. So we're trying to encourage entrepreneurship in the area, because we'd love to see new businesses open up from people that are right here in the county, and what we can do to help encourage that. We'll certainly be all in favor of it.
Sounds like a very, very busy, ambitious schedule, and you're right. The move up here, up street, is going to be really big for you guys too.
Couple of months from now, we'll that's going to take a lot of time, but it's going to be awesome when we finally get in there, and we'll throw a big ribbon cutting party to open it up with the Tourist Bureau in downtown Indiana, because we're all excited to be there together.
Nice. Thanks, Mark.
Hey, thanks, Todd.
It's Indiana in the Morning. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160.